teleconference this evening. My name is Holly Heyerman, and I just want to thank you so much for taking this time to learn a little bit more about the business and also about how to be more successful in network marketing. So let's go ahead and move on forward. Today we're going to talk about what every network marketing professional must master, and that is the presentation. Every network marketing professional must know how to do a presentation. After all, network marketing is built on people sharing the business with other people in order for them to share the business with other people. It's a people business, right? And if we're not putting our business in front of people, then we're not growing our team of distributors. And this is really critical. This is one of the things that I think a lot of companies or people when they come on board with network marketing miss. And one of the things we jump to right away is we think that we have to become salespeople right off the bat, and it's about peddling the product. And something that I really want to drive home on today's training is this isn't about peddling products. This isn't about pushing products, because if you wanted to be a salesperson, then after all, you could just go get a job at your local used car lot and become a salesman, or you could go get a job at a mall and become a salesperson in the mall. This is about creating residual income, long-term income, and wealth and financial freedom. That's the premise of network marketing. And first and foremost, the number one product that a network marketing professional has is the business opportunity itself. It's not anything that's in your product catalog. It's the business opportunity. That is the number one focus, should be the number one focus of you, of the people that you bring into the team, and anybody that they bring into the team. And this is a mind shift that a lot of people have to make because, again, like I said, even when I talk to people nowadays, the very first thing they say is, I don't want to be a salesperson, or I don't want to sound salesy, or I don't want to sell. And this really, I guess ultimately we're quote unquote selling the idea of the business opportunity, but it's not about sales as far as products go. I'll be very honest with you. 99% of my income is not product sales. On average, my product sales only brings in, about a couple $100 a week. Because I've never focused on that. I've always focused on putting the business opportunity in front of people and then teaching people how to have successful businesses. And the way to do that is to put the business in front of people. Now, you can't do that if you don't know how to do it, right? So we're going to cover the presentation and how to do that. Today, we're going to talk about the 5 steps to the presentation, all right? You have 5 steps. Number 1 is the dream. Number 2, the team. Number 3, company. Number 4, back to the dream. And then number 5, follow-up. So this is literally a cookie cutter step-by-step process in how to do a presentation. Now, hopefully you're not reading from scripts. Hopefully you're using your own terminology and your own verbiage. So whenever you do a presentation, I always recommend doing bullet points, formulating your presentation with simply bullet points, never full sentences, because you don't want to sound like you're reading from a script. And I don't know about you, but I always know when someone's reading something to me, even if it's over the phone, right? Ideally, you want to do presentations face-to-face. I know that the beautiful part of owning a network marketing business is that we work on our own schedules and we can reach out and connect to people all over the world. That's the beautiful part. So face-to-face doesn't necessarily mean you sitting across the table from someone at a Starbucks. What that might mean to you is Skype or FaceTime or any of those other video applications where you can actually sit and look in someone's eyes, because that is where you're going to get the best bang for your buck. All right. So here's the 5. This is the process, and I'm going to walk you through each one of these today. So number 1 is the dream, right? And this might sound so cheesy to you. I remember the first time somebody asked me, "What's your dream?" And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, are we back in first grade? Like, this is so cheesy. That's what I thought. But I really want you to think about this and how you're going to present this. And I don't know of any other better way than to say, you know, what's your dream? What are the things that you've always wanted to do with your life? What are the things that you want to accomplish, right? And this is step one. This is all about, you know, at the bottom there it says help them to uncover what they want out of life. Now, the them is the person that you're giving the presentation to. The them is the person that you believe should come into your business. So the whole purpose of the dream is to help the person sitting across from you uncover what they want out of life. Because more than likely, what's happened is, you know, when we're little, we think we can do anything. We think we can accomplish anything. And over time, little pieces of power and belief and things like that, hope, get stripped away from us. And we start to think, instead of thinking that we're invincible like we used to when we were children, we go in the other direction. We get stuck in the humdrum of life. We get stuck in the rut of not even trying to achieve anymore. And this is where 95% of the people that you talk to are going to probably be in this place where they're just getting by, right? Most people live paycheck to paycheck, or they live where they've already spent their paycheck before they get their paycheck, basically. So what we need to do is spend a lot of time, this is the bulk of your time, is talking about the dream, talking about what hopes and desires they have, and helping them to uncover those things. So here's the deal. Here's a great quote. A question asked is more powerful than a statement ever made. A question asked is more powerful than a statement ever made. I've also heard it said that the person asking the question is holding the power, okay? So our job is to ask questions. Now you think, well, you're giving a presentation, yes, but you can't give a proper diagnosis if you don't know what the problem is, right? So our job is to ask questions and ask questions. You don't ever want to tell your story until you hear theirs, right? You want to hear from them. You want to know, what do they think about at night? What are they up late worried about? You want to know, what struggles do they have right now? You want to know if they even have a need for the business opportunity that you have, right? If they're perfectly content in their financial situation and they are 100% happy with their life, then maybe you don't have something to offer them. You don't have a solution for them, right? Always remember that you are there for them, not for you. Now, obviously, I'm sure that you have goals. I'm sure that you have aspirations that you want to achieve in your company, but you have to keep the main thing. The main thing is, how can you help them? So you have to keep the proper frame of mind. And what do I mean by that? The proper frame of mind will keep you out of what we call the desperation zone, okay? You need to remember that people need what you have to offer them. You've got to remember that people need what you have to offer them, all right? So whether they get in your business or not is completely irrelevant. You will succeed if you've decided to, all right? So whenever you're giving this presentation, remember that. Whether they get in or not is completely irrelevant. Your job is to succeed no matter what the outcome, no matter what they decide to do, because all we can do is control our actions. We cannot control the outcome of those actions all the time, right? So if we're putting the business in front of people 3 to 5 times a week, then you will have people that will eventually start saying yes. But if you let your first 2 presentations stop you in the process, and you don't think that it went well, you're never going to get any better. You're never going to start getting any of it, right? Just remember, a good batting average is if somebody hits the ball two or 3 times out of 10. So if you can even hit 1 out of 10 when you're brand new starting out, those are good odds. That's good numbers, all right? So I want you to be encouraged in that. just remember, keeping that proper frame of mind. Not everybody's going to jump in, and the people who do jump in will probably surprise you, and the people who don't jump in will probably surprise you. You might think that one person is going to be a rock star and they never get off the ground. You might think that another person is going to be horrible, and you're like, well, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but then they surprise the heck out of you and they become one of your millionaires on your team. You just never know. So our job is to help them understand that what we do is we offer a vehicle to get people to where they want to go, right? So it is a process, it is a journey, but the business itself, whatever business you're representing, it is simply a vehicle to get people to where they want to go, right? So here's some questions that you can ask to help you develop the dream. Like I said, you spend the bulk of your time during the presentation uncovering the wants, the desires, the hopes of the people on your team. Or not people on your team, sorry. The potential people on your team, the people that you want on your team. So here are some sample questions. Ask things like, most people are looking for one of three things. Would you like more time, more money, or greater significance in your life? What appeals to you the most? And honestly, if you really think about it, those are the three things that most people want in life. They either want more time, freedom, right, because you have more freedom, or if you have more money, you have more freedom as well. Or they want recognition, they want significance, they want to be in the limelight, they want to achieve things and win prizes and all that stuff. But any one of those three things, our company provides. It really, truly provides all those things. And of course, one listed here is one that's not listed here also is a really great sense of community, which also kind of goes into significance as well. Ask questions like, does money stress you out? Do you feel like you live paycheck to paycheck? Do you feel like there's never going to be an end, right? Or ask, if you had all the time and the money that you wanted, what would you do with your time? If money were no object, what would you do with your time? How would you choose to spend your days? What are the things that you really want to do with your life? Ask about, do you feel like you spend enough time with your family? Do you feel like you take enough vacations? Do you have savings for college funds for your kids or even retirement? What are some things that keep you up at night, right? And almost always, you guys, it comes back to this whole, for most people, it comes back to money and not being around enough, not having enough freedom that having financial security can provide in order to do the things you want to do with whom you want to do them. That's how you uncover their dreams, right? And really get them thinking about it. And this might take some time because they might have to dust off some cobwebs because they haven't done this in a while, right? We do this when we're kids. A lot of times we don't do this when we're adults anymore. It's critical that you help them to develop their dreams. And then you're going to tell them that it's possible. You want to meet them where they're at, right? So if they're struggling, wherever they're at, you remember this whole presentation is about them. How can you help them? You have something that you can offer them. And then let them know, look, I think I got a way to help you reach some of those goals. And I'm going to do everything in my power to help you reach those goals. So let's talk a little bit about what I have to offer, and we'll see if it's a good fit. And that's where you move into the second part of your presentation, which is the team. This is where you build credibility and confidence in what we provide as a team. This is where you talk about your personal sponsor or the person who mentored you into the group. This is where you talk about, you highlight them. Say, oh my gosh, I have to tell you about Christine. She is such a phenomenal leader, right? And you tell them a little bit about the people on your team. Or, oh my gosh, one of my most successful coaches is my mom, and she's in her mid-60s, and she makes a killing doing this business, right? So you talk about your personal sponsor. You can share their success story. You lift them up to the other people, right? Now, they don't have a personal relationship with them, and they don't trust me. These people do not know ranks, so throwing out ranks isn't going to help. But this is where you tell them about the people on the team. That, wow, we have such a motivating community of people. And, I don't know about you, but when I used to go to an office 5 days a week, nobody cheered when I came in the room. But if I post something up on Facebook, people are liking it and commenting it, just in our little secret group. And it feels so good to have other people supporting. So this is where you talk about them. And you also talk about how this business has or will help you as well, right? Or how that person has helped you. Then you talk about the success of the team. You can tell a little bit more, and this isn't too long portion, but you just let them know a little bit about the team. You can give some more more success stories. You can talk about some accomplishments teams made, some strengths that we have. Specifically our team, we have some phenomenal training. We've got some really great leaders, and everything is paint by numbers. You never have to figure out anything on your own. Anything that you think you might want to do with this business, guaranteed somebody else on the team has already figured it out and will just streamline it for you. So you help to build up evidence and build up confidence in the success of the team. And then of course you tell them why this team is a good one to join. Most importantly, what this section of the presentation does is you let them know that they're not alone, right? And you also let them know that this is a team effort, and we do this together, right? I can't be successful in this unless you are successful. And the more successful you are, the more successful I am. So I'm 100% completely invested in helping you to achieve your goals and to reach your success. Next, the next portion of the presentation you go into is the company. This is where you talk about the company itself, the products, and the compensation plan, right? So this is where you build even more credibility and possibly even raise brand awareness and recognition. Hopefully your prospect has heard of some of the products that you're offering. And then you also give a super, super brief overview of the compensation plan. So really quickly, the company, who are you an independent rep for, right? That's where you tell them, I'm a representative of XYZ company, right? This is really important because you want to give them a little bit of a history. How long have they been around? What's the company's mission statement? You just give a little bit of a history, just a little snippet of it, because it doesn't need to be a whole history lesson here. But if you have the availability to say, yeah, you know what, the network marketing portion of this company has only been around for 7 years. However, the company itself has been around for 15. For 15 years, it's a very strong, prominent company, multi-billion dollars every single year. Then a quick overview of the top selling products that you have. Ask if they're familiar with them. Ask if they know about them. Make sure that you have a dialogue going back and forth through this. And then finally, really all you want to talk about in the compensation plan is residual income. Because this is, this presentation in and of itself, you want it to be about 30 minutes. You don't want it to go too long, and you don't want it to go so fast that everything goes over their head, right? Because remember in the beginning, you probably spent at least 10 minutes developing their dreams, right? So you talk very briefly about how residual income works and how network marketing works, and why it is so not simple, but it is easy. It's not easy, right? Because we don't want to misrepresent network marketing, because if you don't work hard, you simply will not be successful. But it is very simple, right? And if you apply the simple principles, then you can become very wealthy if that's what you choose to do. So here in a nutshell is how you want to show people what residual income is, right? Year one, you spend a lot of time, and look at that one little teeny tiny dollar sign. Look at all those times, time. And then one little teeny tiny dollar sign. Basically what that means is in year one, you're going to put a lot of time in for a little bit of money, right? But what you create in that first year, as long as you're doing the right activities, what you start to create is this momentum, this upward climb. Do you see that line go up? Year two, we're getting closer to half and half. Year three, Usually you're about exchanging about the right amount of time for money. You're 5, by year 5, you've completely capitalized on this compound effect, and you spend a little bit of time for a lot of financial freedom. This is how residual income works. And this is the most important thing that you can share with somebody when you're presenting your business to them. Because what's going to happen is most of us, if you were to draw a line horizontally straight through this, right, all the way across, this is what most people do. Most people trade equal amounts of time for dollars, right? If you don't show up for work, you're not going to get paid. You have to put in the hours in order to get paid. This isn't how network marketing works. Network marketing works because you put in a lot of time in the beginning, but within 3 to 5 years, typically, if you commit to staying with it for 5 years and being consistent with it, typically you will be completely financially independent within that 5-year mark. And people on my team, if they hustle for 2 years, typically they're making 6 figures within that 2-year time, right? So this is what you need to make sure that they understand. And then here's another way to explain it as well. How residual income works is 10 people. If 10 people on your team are putting in 10 hours a week into the business, that's 100 hours a week working on your personal business. That doesn't stop there, right? So you teach your 10 people how to do that. Then they each have 100 hours a week of activity working toward their bottom line. And then they teach 10 people how to do that. Do you see the picture? Do you see how this goes from a lot of time for a little bit of money in year 1 to a little bit of time to a whole lot of money in year 5? That's how this grows. It's residual income, right? You want to make sure that that's the main concept that they get from the compensation plan. And everything else changes. Everything else is probably way too detailed to get into, but make sure they understand this. Because this is a piece that sets network marketing apart from any other type of company out there, unless, of course, you're a rock star and you have an album that goes platinum, right? So after that, the next section you go back to is the dream. You want to revisit the dream. And you try to help them connect the dots. Help them to see how this business opportunity can help them to reach their goals, right? So you just let them know, like, can you see how having the freedom of time can help you revisit those hobbies? Can you see how having the freedom of money will alleviate your stress, and you won't have to live paycheck to paycheck anymore? You won't have to worry about those things. So this is where you connect it back to their specific dream, right? You simply explain to them, this is a vehicle to get you where you want to go. And I've had people tell me this lots of times because they're like, well, I'm not really passionate about that XYZ product, right? And I will tell you, this I'm the first person to tell you, I'm not passionate about the products either. Like, the products that we rep are freaking amazing, and I love them. But that's not where my passion lies. My passion lies in my financial freedom. My passion lies in my ability to work whenever I want to take a year off if I want to travel whenever I want to. My passion lies in being able to create the schedule that I want to be able to buy whatever I want to for my son, spend the time with my husband and our families, and be able to donate to the church freely, to be able to, this freedom, options, time, right? That's my passion. This is just a vehicle to get you there. Your passion doesn't have to be the business that you're jumping into. You don't have to be all gung-ho crazy about that. You need to be passionate about your dream, right? So this is where you try to help them to create that passion to connect the dots. How much would your life change if you knew you didn't have to worry about money, right? Ask them a few more questions. And then ask them, how do you think residual income can positively impact your life right now? And the final question I don't have here, but I think it's probably the most impactful and powerful one, is, these dreams, these hopes, these wishes, these desires that you have for yourself, what options do you have right now? What do you have in place right now that's going to get you there in 5 years. And most people don't have a plan. Most people don't have a plan B. Most people don't even have a backup plan if they were to lose their current job. We provide backup plans. We provide freedom. That's what network marketers do, right? So this is where you really help to bring that back, and you revisit and you reiterate to them and have them say it again, what they want to achieve and how they can see how residual income can impact their life. Number 5, and this is the simplest and the fastest part, is you just book the follow-up right then and there. You just book it. You book the follow-up right then and there, because more, you know, if it seems right and it seems like they're ready to rock, then great. Move forward and say, hey, you know what? Let's get you started. It really sounds like you're ready to do this. Let's get you started. So don't be afraid to do that. But if, for instance, a lot of people have a lot of questions. A lot of people have to speak with their spouse, or even maybe they want to try some of the products. That's fine. Remember, you're keeping this condensed. You're keeping it only 30 minutes. You've already done a lot, getting them to think about their dreams, their hopes, their desires, and to kind of uncover those, some of those, and maybe it's been buried for a while. So they might be flooded with emotions right now. The important thing, what you do is you never want to leave it just up in the air, right? Because then you become like a weird stalker person, and you're constantly following up with that person. And I want you to avoid that at all costs. So your job is to book the follow-up right then and there, so there's no questions whatsoever, all right, of what is going to happen or what the next step is. That's it, you guys. 5 steps to the invitation process. Quick recap for you. Number 1 is the dream. Step 2 is the team. Step 3, you talk about the company. Step 4, you revisit the dream, reiterate it. And then step 5, you book the follow-up right then and there. So I hope that made sense with you, or made sense for you, rather. I really hope that that you start implementing this in your business right away. You are going to see your business grow leaps and bounds. The first year and a half that I worked diligently at building my company, it took me a year to match my full-time salary doing my business. So my full-time salary at my full-time job, where I worked way more than full-time hours, took me a year to match that salary. Within a year and a half, I had doubled the salary, was making 6 figures. And within 2 years' time, I paid off like a ton of debt, in addition to all that craziness. And then soon after that, I figured, hey, you know what? I guess I should probably retire and start a family. So that's just a really, really short snapshot of what's possible in a business like this. But the way that I did it, you guys, the way that I did it was this presentation, putting the business in front of people, getting in front of people, and putting the business opportunity in front of them. And like I said, my sales on average are like a couple $100 a week. And I don't push that anymore. Those are just customers that I've collected over the last several years. So the bulk of 99.9% of our income or whatever comes from building the team and teaching other people how to build the team. So I hope that you start implementing this into your business as well. So thank you so much for watching the presentation. And again, this was every network marketing professional must master the presentation. And my name is Holly Hireman. Feel free to follow me. Have a great day. Thank you.